Nobody gets to walk out here on their first round and say, I own the world now. I can do all this. It's easy, and I know what I'm doing as a trader. It doesn't work that way. And folks that say that are liars. They're lying. It's easy to fleece people that are ignorant. And if you're listening to me, if you're listening to people that have proven they can trade, we all have the same story. Stop listening to the bullshit. Demand that they can trade, demand that they can prove it to you. And if they can't do it, tell them to pound sand and get up the road and spend your time with someone that knows what they're doing, that's willing to spend the time telling you good advice. Professional trader, you're a long time away from that. Just because you make money and you're profitable, that doesn't mean you're a professional trader. You're not. That means right now you're profitable. But a professional trader, in my opinion, you're doing it at least 3 years or longer, and it's your 100% source of income. Now, it doesn't mean that that's all you make, but you could sustain yourself with just that. That's a professional trader. I read in books when I was younger that a professional trader, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Jack Swagger, his view, or somebody, either Jack or Alexander Elder, one of the two, mentioned that they have to at least make 50% of your income to be considered a professional trader. No, that's somebody that's a part-timer to me. Unless you make 100% of your livable wages, and you've been doing it for at least 3 years, I don't think you have any business calling yourself a professional trader, because everything could crash and burn. I had a period of luck that lasted for 9 months when I didn't even know what the hell I was doing. And then suddenly, everything became impossible. Have you given yourself the flexibility to observe that in your own experience? Think about that for a second. Just think. What happens if what you're doing in the early stages just happens to be luck? Are you prepared to deal with that, where everything feels like it's collapsed on you? Do you know how to avoid that fear or uncertainty about that? Because I know some of you are cringing right now, thinking, shit, that's what I've been afraid of the whole time. I don't want to waste all this time and then find out I can't do it. You remove all that uncertainty and fear with back testing. See, I already know. Like I told you last week, before this previous week came, I already know I'm making money. Period. End of story. I know these moves are going to be there. I know these models are going to be there. See, you don't have the conviction and confidence to trust these things. You haven't conditioned yourself yet. Professional traders have an edge mentally, that they are willing to submit themselves to processes, protocols, and procedures and routines that leads to a measurable outcome that repeats over time. Not every time, not 100%, but more times than not. And if you combine that with impeccable risk management, sound money management, not over trading, not over leveraging, not trying to push that's well beyond what's reasonable in terms of results, trading can become very enjoyable. The emotion that you get from doing it will be devoid of fear and greed, but a sense of satisfaction. Just like a real profitable business owner that has a well-oiled engine. Everybody's doing their job. Everybody's been properly trained. There's a place for everything, and nothing is disorganized. A CEO in a company like that, they're content, they're happy, they're satisfied, they're fulfilled. They have employees that want to work for them because they are appreciated and they're not being asked to do menial job tasks for a little bit of money. That's how you have to treat you, because you're the CEO, you're the analyst, and you're the trader. You have to manage all of those internal personalities. They're different roles, but it's you having to do it all. And so you didn't think about that when you got involved in this. You thought, oh, this is just clicking some buttons. And there's so many things that you have to go through that are mental hurdles that you can't fully appreciate. I mean, I'm sure you probably read some trading books and they probably said, hey, trading's a game of probabilities. And nobody does everything perfect. And you can do this if you have this many R multiples behind your trade, and you risk this much money per trade, and this is what the spreadsheet says you should make. But all that goes out the window as soon as you go in with real money. What have you conditioned yourself to expect? The way you navigate the uncertainty and the emotions and the psychological turmoil that you put yourself through is you lean on the experiences that you gleaned from old data, then taking that old data, start tape reading. You're not pushing a demo, you're not entering a paper trade, and you're not even doing the stage of market replay. Ugh. You're telling me I got to back test, then I got to look at tape reading. I haven't even done a trade yet. I need to be inspired, ICT. If you're not inspired by doing the right procedures, nothing else I'm going to say to you is going to help you. Remember, your surgeon, they didn't give him a scalpel and say, hey, man, you look exactly like George Clooney on ER, man. Let me just give you the scalpel right now, because you're going to charm these patients into trusting you. Don't worry about it. If you make mistakes, don't worry, we got insurance. That's not how they do things, folks. And that's the same mentality you're trying to apply to trading. Oh, well, I'll just swing it. Nobody has a long-term career going into this industry trying to wing it. It doesn't happen. You have to go through the processes, the same thing that surgeon had to go through. Textbook examples. And then he put them in front of a cadaver, watching someone do the process in front of them, because they want to see, do you have the stomach to do it? Because there's a whole lot of people that talk a good game, but as soon as they see something like that, they lose their lunch. Well, how can you be a surgeon? You can't do it. And in back testing and in tape reading, you'll know if you can't do this. That's not to convince you early on to quit before you should, but you know who you are. You know what your limitations are. If you're not disciplined, if you are not responsible, you're going to see that in your back testing. Are you able to keep a routine? Here's a perfect illustration. Listen, folks, listen. Can you set a schedule? Every day at this time, I do 45 minutes of back testing on one market. Not 20, not different pairs over here and different there. One market, back test it on every time frame, 45 minutes. I think that if you go from the weekly down to a 1-minute chart, it should take you about 45 minutes. If you're really being diligent about recording your observations, staring at the chart, looking for things that may have been taught by me or maybe someone else, and having that annotated and logged. And then the very next day, you get to those charts the same time, and you spend that same 45 minutes. Can you do that for a month? Can you do that for 2 months? Some of you can't even do that. But you expect to beat this business, this industry, with real professionals on the other side of your trade? I'm not trying to be demeaning or talk down to you, but I want you to understand that that's the reality of this. There are people out here that know exactly what the hell they're doing. And if you half-ass this, you're going to get results that you don't want. And then you're not going to have an enjoyable experience doing it. You're going to be scared, regretful that you did it, and you're going to know that you rushed into it before you were ready. Professionalism is keeping a schedule and a routine and adhering it to it. It's sticking to that schedule and that routine. Anything that upsets that schedule needs to be paramount, big, huge things, because the market have very specific timings. And if you're not willing to be able to be in front of those charts at that time, you're going to miss it. You'll chase. You'll have fear of missing out. You'll wait for what you're going to call confirmation. Oh, I missed the actual time. I was messing around with PlayStation. I was on Xbox Live. I was doing this and doing that. Well, I would have saw that trade right there. I definitely would have got in right there. So, Yeah, it looks like about 10 more handles still of movement. Let me just get in here right here. No, you blew it. You messed up. You have to do it all over again the next session or the next day. You'll discover that you don't have the patience that you think you're going to have. You'll discover that you're not as organized, as disciplined. And that's the important things to learn early on in an environment that's safe, where you can't lose money. You don't want to discover with a live account that you are impatient, you're prone to be impulsive, and you're a gambler, because your account will show you in terms of monetary loss. And now you just compounded the difficulty in learning how to do this. And you're pushing that level of professionalism as a target further down the road. There's ways to do this correctly, and there's a whole lot more ways to do it incorrectly. In the beginning, you have to accept the fact that you are an intern. You are an intern at a trading company that you're going to start later on. You're working for no wages right now. You're in it for the experience, just like an intern is. What's it like to be in this industry? What's it like to be around people, the movers and shakers, that get things done, that everybody wants to listen to? And that experience, where you're willing to put yourself through all of that just for the sake of getting and garnering that experience, you can't buy that, folks. That's why internships are sought after, because you can't replace that with a college degree. You can't express that level of understanding of being in that industry unless you were there doing it. It can't be transferred. Nobody can give it to you. You go through it and you glean it by being there and being present. And if you're an intern and you're not on time, they get rid of you. There's a lot of people that want to be in positions that have internships, because the jobs on the other end of all that are high yielding income jobs. This, you have to be an intern. Then you have to set it up like a job, part-time job in the beginning. Eventually you want to transition to the equivalent of a full-time job that replaces your full-time wages. And then you want to treat it like a business. Some of you aren't prepared to be a business owner. You're not responsible. You're not organized. You're not able to keep good records of anything. And that's all going to be problematic. And you need to discover all those things early on. You don't want to find out that you're a poor business owner just because you can make money in trades. If you don't know how to manage the money correctly, keep things in order, pay your taxes, you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble. And it's all avoidable. All these things are absolutely avoidable, but they're not learned real quick, real fast. There's no shortcut to it. There's no fast tracking to it. It's going to take a lot more time. It's going to take a whole lot more time and energy in the beginning stages. But every single one of my profitable students, they submitted themselves to this. And if you ask them, they'll tell you, yeah, it sucked. In the beginning, I didn't really like it. It felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. But then suddenly, I started seeing some things in my observations in price. I was picking up on things that I really wasn't expecting to see. And then they fell in love with it, because now they're knowing beforehand, before they sit down in front of the charts, they know that model is going to be in the price charts. They just don't know how much it's going to move. That's the uncertainty. What's the magnitude of the move? Is it going to be a larger move that's part of a weekly range run? Or is it going to be just a session run? But that model is going to be there. My model is going to be there next week. Every single day, my models, plural, are going to be in price action next week. It's going to happen. I don't need to be convinced by anybody else. I don't need to lie about it. I don't need to worry about it. I don't have to have any anxiety about it. I know those things are going to be there. That's a level of confidence that comes by way of doing this for a very long time. And it has conditioned me to expect and appreciate the fact that it's continuous, which is why I have a slogan every week, every day, and it won't stop. I do that to remind you also, and the folks that put themselves through this, they discover that that is true, and nothing can shake them. Their level of confidence is unrivaled, which To the unlearned, the uninitiated, it seems like arrogance. It's not. It's just extreme levels of confidence. You don't worry about being made redundant at your job. You don't care what the economy is. Who cares how much gas costs? Who cares? Who cares how much groceries are going to cost? If you have a skill set like this, you can outpace all of that stuff. And the things that you worry about right now, they're minuscule things. You won't even worry about those things at all. Price tags are not a factor. There's so many levels to this journey that you're going to go through. And you got to make it pleasant. Enjoy the whole process. Don't make it harder than it needs to be, because it is hard. It's very, very difficult. It's hard to stay focused. It's hard to stay motivated in the beginning because you're not making any real money. And if you have a spouse or a significant other, they're really not going to understand how much level of commitment you need to place on this. Why are you looking at that stuff? Why do you keep doing this? What have you made by doing all that? Have you made any money yet? Well, I got to do this and do that. Don't even waste your time. Don't waste your time explaining all that stuff. Because all it's going to do is further spur on the likelihood of you quitting because you love who you're with. You don't want them to be unsettled by what you're doing. And you love them so much that you're willing to let go of your dream. And I don't want you to do that, because you can be married to someone that you love and living a monogamous relationship, by all standards, looking like you're the model spouse. But if you didn't do this and you really want to do it and you gave it up because they didn't want you to do it or they couldn't understand it, you're going to be miserable. You're going to be thinking our lives could be so much better and different and significantly easier if I just would have dug my heels in and spent less time trying to explain something that they're not going to understand. My wife literally is 12 feet from me, and she still thinks this is like a video game. She doesn't understand what it is that we do. She has no comprehension of whatsoever what this is all about. I had, in our relationship early on, I tried to explain, she ain't interested. Okay, done. But if I'm doing this, just understand that while I'm doing it, I can't be distracted. Let me do what I have to do. And when I'm done, then it's family time. And I wasn't doing very well at that. So I failed as a father and a husband in that regard. So you have all the advantages right now by hearing someone that made all the wrong moves to schedule all that stuff. You have to be very diligent about managing your time. 1440 as a video here on my YouTube channel. It's not about trading, but it's more important. Right now, before you learn how to trade, you need to master your time, because that's something that you don't get more of. And you have to schedule it and be diligent about how you spend your time. And I want to commend all of you that are sitting here right now listening to other people and listening to me. The folks that spend their weekends pursuing this, wanting to learn more about it, and being around people that do it, that is it. That is one of the biggest testimonies that you have exactly what's required to do this. Everybody else is out there chasing tail, wanting to get drunk, blaze up. No, you're here being a part of something that is encouraging, that has a community vibe that is, in my opinion, the best. I didn't build this. Kit and every one of you built this. And I'm so really amazed to see the honesty from everybody coming forward and sharing their observations, their hardships, and encouraging one another. I think that's amazing, because this industry right now, because of social media and the competition between gurus and mentors and who can trade better than this one, and it's all bullshit. When you start making money, you're not going to worry about what I'm doing and what I'm going to eventually put out in a book or a video if I ever do it again. You don't give a shit. Nobody gives a shit about that. And that's exactly how it should be. You're living your life. You're here to get a skill set so that way you can live your life the way you want it on your own terms. There's nothing wrong with that. But everything in this industry right now is all about toxic competition. Who can take the most from the other person? Who can make more off of that one and belittle this one? And you need to be placing yourself in the presence of other people that want to build you up and lift you up. And personally, that this is one of those types of things here in this community. I think it's very admirable what held together here and maintained. And I told him, and we were having our discussion. Unfortunately, the bandwidth didn't allow for a real nice video playback. But I told him, I said, what you're doing is awesome. And I want to see what you do with it. I want to see it grow. It should grow. And it shouldn't just be about me or the things that I taught. And I was wonderfully pleased to hear how there was another person here today that doesn't trade with what we trade with. And you were very accepting to them. It was very disarming to hear how you said, we don't discriminate against anybody else that may trade differently, because there's lots of ways to make money in this, folks. What I've taught and what I do is not the only way to skin this cat. There's lots of ways to do it. But it's important that you learn from somebody that actually can do it. Can they break it down and explain to you, this is the process, this is the order of what you should be focusing on right now in the beginning. It's not about making money. Everything has a learning curve. And this is one of the steepest learning curves you'll ever put yourself through. And it's hard. It's a whole lot of uncertainty, things to worry about. Will you be able to do it? How long is it going to take? When am I going to be profitable? How do I know this and how do I know that? All those questions get answered by the process of going through everything that's been prescribed to you. And the unfortunate thing is, you're not willing to make the investment. Some of you. You're scared. Man, what if I put in all this time and it doesn't work for me? Put in a little bit more time. Because when you learn this, when you look back and you think to yourself, man, I almost talked myself out of this. What the hell was I thinking? Look at this. Look what I'm able to do right now. I could walk out there on Monday and I can make myself $2,500 and not even over leverage and make it and stop trading and I'm done. How many people do you know in your friends and family circle makes $2,500 in a week? Think about it. There's some people that don't even make that in a month. You're learning how to do something as hard as it may seem right now. When you get this skill set, it's something that no one can take from you. Nobody can take it from you. And then now, because you'll learn how to do it yourself, you'll get experience, and then you can share it with your children and help them remove themselves from slavery, because that's exactly what your job is. They've convinced you that that wage that you're going after in that 40-hour pay week, or if you're a manager and you're in salary in a 50, 60, 70-hour work week that you're probably putting in, they've convinced you that that amount of money was worth prostituting your time for them. Really? You're willing to put yourself through that bullshit just to get bread on a plate, be told when you can and can't, and you better show up on time or you're going to get written up and potentially lose your job. You're willing to put yourself through that, but not this. When this has a higher potential yielding income and a schedule that you can make whatever you want it to be. You can live wherever you want to live, drive whatever the fuck you want to drive, do whatever you want to do. And nobody's telling you otherwise. There's nothing better than this. Nothing. Not one thing out there better than this. I'm an entrepreneur, ICT. I want to do this and do that. That's wonderful. I think personally, many of you that want to have other businesses and things like that, when you start making serious money doing this, you're going to be like, fuck this. I don't want to have employees. I don't want to have a brick and mortar building to worry about. I don't want to worry about all that stuff. I want to be a digital nomad. I'm going to bounce around, do what the hell I want to do, fly around here, visit this one, do that, and live your life fast and loose. Some of you think that's unobtainable. As long as I can make, $1,000, here and there. You're thinking too small. You're thinking too small. How far do you want to go? What defines professional to you? professional trader. You're a professional money maker. You're a professional risk manager. You're a professional speculator. You're embracing the uncertainty of you might have it wrong once in a while, but you're not freaking out when you do it. Some of you aren't prepared for that right now. You don't want that. You're trying to hide yourself from that inevitable losing streak. Not losing trade, losing streak. Multiple losing trades. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do if it happens? You're going to reduce risk and you're going to follow your model. How hard is that? See how fast that is to remove all this what if thinking. But see, you can't appreciate that because you don't know what that model is for you yet. You have no experience in seeing how many times it presents itself in old data. That's the key. That's the very thing. That's your secret weapon that gives you the confidence to keep doing it and sticking to it. And it's the same thing you're going to apply in the charts that's forming live, real time. You're expecting those same things to unfold candlestick by candlestick, whatever time frame you're using. And because you've seen it so many times before, because you've studied a very specific model, your reticular activating system has been keyed up. That means that you're seeing something that you have grown an affinity for. You want to see something in price action that you believe is your model. And because that's your model, everything else in the chart is filtered out. And the thing that you're looking for, as soon as it manifests itself in price, it's like illuminated. It's standing out like a spotlight. Boom! Here I am. And you're on time. Let's get to work. And that's dynamite. That's exactly what professional traders do. They know exactly what the fuck they're looking for, when it's supposed to be there, and they're showing up on time to engage it. They manage it. They don't put on large risk. They don't do the maximum 15 contracts because their funded account company says they can. How much can you, the trader, the professional trader, the CEO of You Incorporated Trading, how much can you take on as risk and not feel any emotion? But I can't get rich, ICT, doing that. Bullshit. That's bullshit. Because apparently you don't know what compound interest is, because you don't need a large rate of return to get rich. You need something that repeats over and over and over again. There has to be consistency, that cookie cutter approach that needs to be applied to your trading. That's your model. That's the thing. That's the edge. And then compound interest is a very small rate of return. Very, very small rate of return. Can compound over time. I ain't got time, ICT. Really? You got the rest of your life to fucking slave for that job. You ain't bitching about that, are you? I got to get out of this job. I got to do something else. No, you're content there. You like the flavor of the bullshit they feed you. You love it. Because if you didn't love it, you'd be making changes about doing it. And guess what? You're here doing that very thing. You're looking for a way out. See, you stay in that cell that's unlocked willfully. I just kicked the door open again, reminding you all you have to do is step out here. There's a big world out here waiting for you. Huge, boundless opportunities. But you have blinders on and you're holding them. You won't put them down. You're trying to talk yourself out of it because you're scared. You've been conditioned. You're all institutionalized. And it's scary to step out here and try to do something on your own. Yeah, you might lose money. But guess what? You're losing money every day that you go to work. You're paying taxes. And when you spend your money, that's not a write-off. You can't do anything with that. As a business owner, you can do all kinds of things that the average person can't. As a business owner, I get paid to drive the vehicles that I own. I get paid to go on vacations and spend money living the high life. All those things are write-offs. Gas in my cars, even though they're 8 cylinders, I don't care. That's a write-off. That lowers my taxable income. When I was in school, I wasn't taught that. They don't want you to know these types of things. They want you to have ignorance. And this industry is so competitive. They're going to tell you this is too complicated. It's fucking not complicated. I literally just did a tweet earlier today while listening to all of you. Very simple approach to doing one model. And when you understand that language, it's the silver bullet model, by the way, but in a text format that can fit in a small little segment of price, or not price, but of paper, like a business card. But there's difficulty in someone seeing that for the very first time and understanding, what does that mean? Right. What does draw on liquidity mean? It means the market's going to gravitate towards that liquidity. Which one, ICT? Because I see relative equal highs and relative equal lows. Which one do you look for? Where do you think the weekly chart's going to expand? Your bias is established with the weekly chart. Then every session and every day bias needs to be in alignment with that. Then you have high probability. Ooh. So you're saying that I could see low resistance liquidity runs if both of those are in agreement. Yep, that's it. There you go. It's done. What are you worrying about? Why are you complicating it? I say all this stuff in the videos. I didn't hide it from you. But you're looking for something that you have a preconceived notion about. This is what I need to hear. If he says this, it'll make it easier. Instead of just listening to everything that I'm educating you with, or anybody else that can prove they can trade. If they're teaching you something, a well-defined approach to doing it, listen. Don't have selective hearing. Listen. If they're taking the time to spend on you, teaching you, educating you, it's worth it for you to be taking notes. Not just write down the notes and never refer back to them again. Wait a day, come back to them and read them again. And what does it mean? Do you feel any different in terms of what you were taking down in terms of notes? Go back and listen to the medium that these educators, me or anyone else, have produced for you. And you'll be surprised what you think is now new. It was added after the fact. When it's just because it's a lot of information. There's a lot of things going on between the high and the low of the day. There's a lot of things that are going on. But here's the wonderful thing. You don't need to worry about every single aspect of what it is that I know about the marketplace and what I'm able to teach you. You just need to find one small little segment of price action that repeats, that you can see easily, that you can time. This is what fits my personal life. I can do this because it fits my life. When you focus on that and you put yourself in that situation, it allows you to groom your expectations as a future professional trader. But if you don't have a target and a routine that you adhere to, you're not going to get there. It's going to be next to impossible for you to find consistency. It's not going to give you the confidence to stick with it because you have no baseline. You have no way to evaluate your progress. But as you do more back testing, as you do more things that repeat over and over again, seeing how these things repeat, you find that this was a lot less complicated than you thought it was going to be. You find that, wow, this is something that I made more scary than it really is. And I almost talked myself out of it. And I think about that myself. I'm going to say this and I'm going to close it. There's so many times where I felt that I was wanting to quit when I was 20. And every single time I put it down, I wanted to do it more. And each time I needed to break, and I put it down, I'd want it more than I ever did. If you feel that way, stop resisting it. You are a trader. If you feel that way, you are. You just haven't groomed yourself into a highly efficient, profitable trader. And that's something that someone with your mindset, if you feel that way, that is obtainable. But you have to do a lot of things and prune that tree each day of the things that are time wasting, things that are focusing your attention on the what if thinking that is negative. Hanging around people that are not going to be encouraging to you. Think about your friends. Where are they at in life? Do they have professional careers? Do they have, solid family lives? Are they drama? Do they drain you when you get away from them? Do you feel like, man, I'm glad to be away from that person? If that's like that for you, and I had a lot of that when I was younger, cut that stuff off. Learn how to do this. And then once you learn how to do this and you're consistently profitable, maybe if it's in your interest, go and try to talk them into trying to do it yourself. Well, try to get them to do it. If they don't want to do it, that's fine. But if they're holding you back, and there's many times that friends and family are going to do that very thing. Don't go, if you're new, don't go and start telling your friends, yeah, I'm going to learn how to trade I watch this guy, he does this, and it's free, so it's really no risk and such. Don't do that, because they're career workers. Chances are they're going to tell you, oh, don't do that. Don't do that. You might actually get somewhere. And then they got to feel bad about having never had the willingness to want to make a change in their personal life either. Just do it. Don't talk about it. Just do it. Be diligent. Forge responsibility, self-control. All those things are scheduled in your day. You do this, you got to be in front of your charts at this time, and you have to end that day of study at this time. You submit yourself to that time. Can you keep yourself on a schedule? That regimen, going through the process of going through this very thing every single day, even on weekends. Can you do that? Chances are some of you may not be at that stage where you can right now. And you're going to have to grind your heels in and say, okay, it's uncomfortable. It sucks because I don't really understand what it is I'm doing, but let time do its work. It'll teach you what it is that you're fearful of right now. The concerns of, I'm not going to be able to see this. How does he know this? And why does he know that this is going to be this or that? How does he know price is going to react this way? Why is his stop loss here or there? How can he do this and how can they do that? How does a student trade this way and the other students are doing that, but they're both making money? All those are answered by you just simply doing it. And you're going to discover the things that you're making a mountain out of, these little tiny concerns. They're like small little pebbles in your shoe. It's hard to walk a long journey with a rock in your shoe. I get it. I know. Just get rid of it right now. Remove all the excuses. Yes, it's going to take a lot of time. Yes, it's going to take a lot of, discipline. And you may not have it yet. And the only way you get it is you forge it. And place yourself around people that are supportive. They're either doing what you're doing or they've been doing what you're trying to do. And that's a wonderful support structure. I wish I had this when I was coming up. I wish I had this. You all have advantages that people like me didn't have. There's really no excuse for you not to be successful at this. Like, you have information at your fingertips by me and other people that know how to trade, and it's accessible to you. And there's people out there that bitch and complain instead of just doing the work, sitting in front of your charts, getting used to doing the very thing that you're going to spend the rest of your life doing. You want to be a professional trader? Okay, accept the fact that you're going to be staring at charts, looking for things that you don't fully understand right now, but you're expecting them to form on a time delivery schedule that's going to be there every single day. When you go to work on Monday, that menial task that your employer asks you to do, it's the same thing all the time, isn't it? You do this, this is what happens. And if it goes off the rails a little bit, you have a protocol that you have to go through, and then everything resumes back to what you're supposed to do normally, and your workday resumes as it would be. When it's time to go home, you punch out, drive home, you have uncertainty. You might not make it home safely, God forbid. There's risks in everything. But you're not telling yourself, man, I can't have this job. I can't work this job anymore. Going home from that job might get me into a car accident. I might mess up my new paint job, my new wrap, my rims going through Taco Bell. So there's really no excuse why any of you can't get here. The trails have been blazed ahead of you. The information's been laid in front of you. All you have to do is show up. You need to put the work in. And I'm confident that everyone that puts themselves to the task, you will arrive on time. The timing that was perfect for you. And you can't schedule it. You can't say, I need to be profitable by this time. It doesn't work like that. It's not like a weight loss program where you can say, okay, in 6 months, I want to be 20 pounds lighter, whatever it is. That's something that's realistic. This is uncertain because you are a real living organism that has a personality. You like what you like. You don't like what you don't like. And right now, you don't want to back test. You don't want to do these things because they're uncomfortable and they're unprofitable and you can't make money with them right now. And nobody on social media is going to appreciate you doing it because they think you should be trading with real money. You think you should be trading with real money. And you can't be properly trained to prepare yourself for the uncertainty of trading with real money until you do these types of things to a degree where you're no longer influenced by the results in tape reading and then demo. So there's a whole lot of time. There's a whole lot of time ahead of you that you have to do things apart from pushing the button with a real account, apart from trying to get a funded account challenge passed. That's not what some of you want to hear, but that's exactly what you have to hear, and you have to accept it. There's no shortcut. I promise you, if there was, I would honestly sit down and tell you everything, how to avoid all this stuff, but there is no other way. Unless you have something out there that's going to produce a signal that you may not even fully understand why it's doing it. And if you can do that, then God bless you. You know, that's not me. I got to know why something works. And I teach that way. So for the folks that want to learn from me, they have that information. It's not just, well, I think it might do this because the last time I did it, my elbow ached, and there it is. There's logic behind it. It's measurable. It's statistically probable to repeat in the future more times than not.